So he hired a consulting company, Accenture Consulting, to come in and look at the model and say, could this be replicated at other universities? And if so, what conditions need to exist for it to be able to be so? And they found that it could be, and they replicated it at St. Thomas University through Daughtry Family College, having the same results. So with that in mind, Father Steve said, I'm going to form a network. I want to be able to help other selective institutions be able to implement this model. So it's great that we're doing it at these two colleges, but what if this became a national movement? How might we be able to do that? So that's how Come to Believe was formed. We were very lucky. Literally, our vice president of student affairs received a random email from a guy named Sam Adams. No joke. Great email. And he answered it. And he said, Stephanie, and again, being in the transformation lab, is this something you might want to think about? Would we ever want to be part of this? And we got on a call, and basically they shared with us about the model, which I'll show you in just a moment. And I had that $10,000 degree, kind of in my, in the lab. And I thought, well, we might want to learn about it. So we applied to be part of the inaugural cohort, and we were accepted. So Butler actually, I'm very proud of this, is the third school that's implementing this model. So leading the pack. Fun fact, since, Graham set me up for this, Xavier's in the group behind us. So go us. It's true. But we were in the inaugural design cohort selected to be able to learn about that model. And really our first 9 months of this was, do we want to do this? Does this make sense? Could we do it? All of that innovation process, and we decided we could. So we are implementing the Come to Believe model. What we also love about this is that we get the privilege and honor to learn from those people who are working on it right now, then also being able to share ideas with others too. So even though we compete with Xavier, I've been on the phone several times with their project manager talking about how might they be able to do that at Xavier too. So we're part of a network that's really implementing that. So why I like Graham, do you mind doing the next slide for me? So why I liked the Come to Believe model, or why Butler liked the Come to Believe model, are the results. I talked about how this received a lot of notoriety and why people were flocking to this and wanting to learn more. The student outcomes. Students graduate from Come to Believe colleges at a 50% on-time completion rate. For comparison, nationally, at two-year colleges, that's 13%. 90% are graduating debt-free. And then this is, I think, the statistic that is most exciting to me. All of it is, but 80% are continuing on for their four-year degree. At community colleges right now, that's less than 20%. So it's a model that has proven results. So if we're going to go out and do something big and bold, which we wanted to do at Butler, it's really nice to have a model that we know has success, and that we can then, what we say, Butlerize, but still be able to really make it ours. So with that being said, I want to show you what this model is. That will be my last slide, and I'll be happy to take any questions. So Graham, if you don't mind, would you do one more slide for me? All right, so this is the Come to Believe model. So it's really important, I think, most importantly, to know that if scholarshiping was enough in higher ed, we could scholarship our way into accessibility. It's not. The higher education model does not work for all of our students. I know I'm in a room of people that believe in access and being able to give to that. It doesn't work. So this model of education is actually different. And this is what we are going to be implementing in our new two-year college. So I always describe this by going top left, counterclockwise, is we are creating a new college. We are going to name it. It's not going to be the new two-year college, I promise. But we're working on that right now, but we will have a new college, so the 7th college on Butler's campus. We're really excited. We're co-locating it with our College of Education. So it's ingrained within the community. So that's a big part of why this model is so successful. It's not a separate college. People from the very get-go feel part of the broader university, which helps with that retention, that belonging, and that matriculation to that four-year degree. The different college, our new college, will have different schedules because it's really hard if you have a family, if you have a child, if you have to work, to be able to live on campus. This is for a commuter student. It's very difficult to be able to work and have a changing schedule because of how your classes change. So this is set schedule. So it's predictability for your 2 years, where students will choose either a day or an evening, late afternoon schedule, and they'll go to school 4 days a week, and they'll have a paid internship on the other, and that will be the schedule. So it's predictable to be able to plan life around that. So that's kind of how the college itself works. We are really excited about welcoming a different student. I just got finished reading the book. I don't know if anyone's read it recently, or it's a new book by Adam Gant, Hidden Potential. but it really just continues to talk about how we as higher ed, and I say that as somebody who loves it, has all of these factors of GPA and test scores, but that doesn't really give you the whole college or the student picture, right? What might people have had to overcome? What might successes are not seen on those transcripts? What don't we know? And so I always think of that because I had every privilege growing up and I had that transcript to show for that. Having said that, if I had to work full time, if I had to care for families, if I wasn't sure where I was going to sleep at night, or if I was moving all the time, I wouldn't have had the transcript and the GPA. That doesn't mean I had any less potential. So it's for students with great potential that just have a different type of academic profile. We're really excited about that. Academic programming, I think this is really important. This is a distinction of the model. This is a Butler degree. Our students are taking our core curriculum. They will have a 2-year and then a 2-year program that they can transition to at the broader university in another college. It's the same quality, same programming and for core curriculum. We're just using different pedagogical approaches and different holistic services to reach the students. So it's a Butler degree. We're really excited about that. We will have dedicated in that. We're going to have dedicated faculty in our college. We're hiring a dean right now. I'm really excited about that. For a long time, I thought, gosh, I'm never going to be able to hand this project over. Now I'm ready. But we're hiring a dean. We're hiring an associate director of enrollment, financial aid, career services, faculty, student success, social workers. So we're really staffing that up. So we're not building upon our faculty and current staff and backs on that too. So we're excited to have those added resources. Employer services. Our students are going to have to work while they're in school, and that's totally cool, and we want that. So career services embedded from the second semester on. There's a paid internship, so students have that opportunity that we're going to help place them in an internship to learn about their careers they're going along on their way. This is where I think the magic happened is the high-touch student support. A lot of times in higher ed, we use grades as leading indicators, and that's too late to intervene. And a lot of times when people have a poor grade on a class or a test, it's not because they didn't study, it's because something else is going on. So one of the concepts that's embedded in a lot of the belonging frameworks is a concept called intrusive advising. That doesn't mean we're like going to houses, knocking on doors, but it really is kind of like that early intervention. If somebody is acting different, if they're not showing to class, like there's going to be an outreach. And we are going to do that in a holistic approach. With that being said, the other part I think that is so cool about this is in that new college that I was talking about on South Campus, it's a one-stop shop for students. So you go to one hallway and you have financial aid, career services, social work, everything. So you're not bouncing around trying to figure out who needs to help you. Come to us, we'll figure it out. And then as I alluded to, social workers. We also have emergency funds. So we will, the college, one of the things that we are raising money for and part of the operating budget is a $50,000 emergency fund. So if students find themselves without transportation, without a place to stay, we've got emergency funds to be able to help them bridge that gap. And then last, but certainly not least, affordable. The students that we will recruit for this college will have demonstrated financial need and or they will be undocumented students. We're very proud we're going to be the first partners school with the Dream.us, which supports undocumented students. And we will package tuition, books, lab fees, laptop, Wi-Fi, a meal a day, because food insecurity, as you alluded to, is a huge thing. Transportation costs, all within that model. So all those things that sometimes gets in the way of people being able to attend classes is not going to be something they have to worry about on top of that. And if students qualify for that full financial aid, they will have nothing out of pocket. So that 90% debt free is where that comes from. So that's really the model, and that's what we're going to be implementing at our college. Kind of timeline here, and then I will definitely stop talking and take any questions that you all have. Happy to answer any of them. Is we're going to welcome our first group of students in fall 2025. Our application is going to go live in August 15th, 2024 for students. That's where we're at right now. I know the exact date. I've seen the application. It's really exciting. And we're right now finishing up the space plans. We have this is also the part that I think is just really exciting about Butler. We have over 120 some faculty and staff working in some way to be able to ready the college for this. So we have 8 work streams, a champion network. And so we're really excited about how our new college is going to make us better as a university. So we're working on all of those items. I'm going to help welcome our first students in August 2025. So that's the high level. Happy to be able to take any questions. comments, feedback for me and answer anything. Yes, I'll go here.
So, how many students do you think you'll start with in that first year?
Great question. Thank you. I normally say that. We're going to start with 100 students the first year, second year 150, 175 the third, and 200 after that, new students.
And since these are local, housing will not be part of this, they'll be living at home?
Yeah.
Or what?
Great question. So it is for commuters. That's actually very intentional with the model because they found a lot of times that the school students have needs to be able to live at home and to be able to provide that opportunity is how that is really created. So it's really for the Indianapolis and surrounding communities. Yeah. Yes.
The numbers that you showed on other two-year colleges were stunning.
Yeah.
What, can you expand on 13%, 18%? I mean, it almost seems like a waste of resources to have you going.
That I mean, I can't really say why, besides that is really the numbers. I mean, I think a lot of what happens in a lot of your community colleges, and again, please know I am a community college supporter. Ivy Tech plays a huge part in our community and I will forever be a fan. They are also though open to everybody and there's a lot of different classes and it's not necessarily your cohort model. Where this is a cohort model for individuals to really work through things together and have that sense of belonging. And sometimes that isn't necessarily what happens, and that's okay. I would also say sometimes in two-year colleges, people go and they get some training and they don't necessarily need that whole associate degree. Having said that, we all know that our workforce, our communities are better with more degree attainment. So that is kind of where this model is very different than those.
Thank you so much for coming today and going over this. I'm a Butler undergrad from way back when. And when I saw the email or social media about this, what is this, how does it work, so to speak. So definitely appreciate that. And one of the things that when I was there in the early 80s, it was relatively inexpensive and my parents were able to afford tuition. So I graduated debt free and really appreciate that really ever since then. Kind of one of those people that loves all things Butler with one exception, and that is I think it's just too expensive.
Yeah.
So this is great to see, and just a kind of general comment. My question though is in terms of, so they're going to be on the CTS campus.
You got it.
And are they going to be kind of, I'd be concerned, let's say that the students would be not integrated, let's say, with the rest of the university, student wise and activity wise. So can you comment on that a little bit? And also I just had a quick question on the application as far as the academic challenge. I don't want to say academic requirements, but Butler's a tough school to get into academically, so to speak. So students that may not be able to afford it or in the Indianapolis area are still going to be able to compete academically, so to speak.
Yeah, so I'll take the first question first. So we gave a lot of thought for place for where this is located, and we're actually really excited for it to be on the CTS. So I think sometimes right now we think of South Campus being really far away on Butler's campus, but it's actually 5 minutes. I can get to walk there in 8 minutes, where it takes me more time to walk to Hinkle. The College of Education is there. There's 250 some students that are there, undergrads. There's a lot of ways for cross programming. The other part that is also happening at Butler that, again, you may or may not know, is a gateway initiative to be able to actually activate that South Campus. And that's actually where a lot of the new development is actually planned to go. So I think right now it may perhaps feel that way, but it's not really how that's living into it. And the other part of that is where there is South Campus and CTS. I would say that it's actually very exciting because there's a lot of intersectionalities with some programming with the COE with really intentional planning. There's actually a place there's a cafe there where there's food that's really easy to access. And then also really important to this is there's good parking. There is also a bus line to be able to go. So actually getting to campus may actually even be easier. And then with it being part of the College of Education, to me, that is also we sometimes don't think about that for the College of Education, but we have that now. But it's a good question. It's one we've been asked and we gave a lot of thought to that. As far as academic potential, you're right. Right now, we're only admitting about 2% of students who apply with under a 3.0. That's a thing. And so this will look at a lot of times at students with the 2.5 to 3.2 range that, again, have that potential that are just not seen on those transcripts. So that is something we are definitely trying to solve with that. So great questions. Thank you. Yeah. Oh, go here and here.
What majors will you be offering?
Great question. So haven't finalized those yet. We're working to get those finalized with our faculty. We will have those identified by March. We will have one in allied health. We will have one in the biz tech area, and the third one will be more of the liberal arts general area.
Will you align those areas, students with, will you be helping them find internships during school in the healthcare area or the business area?
Oh, yeah. So when we are choosing the programs, we have about 12 faculty working on it right now. There's 3 components that are absolute. One, they have to have some sort of credential that they can earn while they're in school as well, because that early success is really important too. 2, that there's industry aligned, good earning potential and internships. So we'll be placing them. They'll have 4 semesters of internships that we will set up. And then the third one is that they have to have a 2+2 pathway to a 4-year degree at Butler too. So all of those are considered in the design requirements for the programs.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I think I'm here and here. Yeah.
Obviously, it's a much needed program for all the schools that
Thank you.
could implement this. My question is, what's your plan for recruiting? And I do have a question about the undocumented. Is there a quota of number of undocumented that you are going to search for and fill each year? Or is it just going to be affordable and doable for that person?
Yeah, great question. So recruitment is really going to be a lot of times with our high school. We did a lot of focus groups. We did a lot of work to make sure we did this with validation. We did focus groups. We at one point had high school counselors bidding for spots on a call, as well as community-based organizations. So we're partnering right now with Providence Cristo Rey on some really cool internships. We've got lots of different high schools, Center for Leadership Development, Indiana Latino Institute. So a lot of your community-based organizations, as well as high schools, will be where we have a lot of our pipeline. This isn't going to be something that's going to be, I mean, it's local. And so it's going to be a lot of your personal relationships on that. For undocumented students, we're going to partner with the dream.us. They want us to be able to try to recruit 10 students a year if we can, but there's not something we have to achieve with that. It's really as much as we can through their program to be able to do that. Yeah. Does that answer your questions? Great. I think we have over here.
What's been the reception and perception from local businesses and corporations headquartered across Indiana that might be interested in hiring someone who comes to this program?
They're thrilled. We again did focus groups with them. We had to have letters for support for items, and they are absolutely thrilled because not every position needs a bachelor's degree. And so this gives us another avenue. There's a lot of vacancies, especially when you think about the business and tech area as well as allied health. I just met with the leader of Tech Point a couple of days ago, and he cannot wait to start recruiting in this area to be able to help us with this because there's such a need. So it's a different offering. It's allowing us more flexibility to be able to respond to actually needs in the community as well. Yeah, it's really been exciting. Yep, over here and then here. Okay.
So what's it like in terms of staffing with the educators and advisors how's that going? How's that being received? And how will you continue to train them in particular? Because this is a little bit different than what they might do in the Butler College in general.
So we haven't started recruiting anyone besides the dean yet, because really that's going to be the leader of that college. And that's actually a very important skill set we're looking for, right? We also understand that we don't have that in-house right now. So we need somebody to come in to lead that college with those different pedagogical approaches, with that asset-based mindset, with those intrusive advising and belonging. So that's one thing. I can tell you that we received over 100 applications for the dean position within 6 weeks. I mean, it has been crazy. We've already had interviews, people wanting to relocate to be able to be part of that. So I'm really I shouldn't say worried because I always worry about everything on this. But there's a lot of individuals that are mission oriented. They're very drawn to this model. The other thing I just kind of want to hit on is we have gaps in training. So I actually, right before and right after, we have actually the leading expert, Dr. Terrell Strayhorn, who does a lot of belonging work for individuals and communities that have been historically underrepresented in higher ed at our campus right now, working with us on training. He's helping us create a college belonging plan. In those work streams, we have one whole work stream to belonging and integration, thinking about the different skills that we need as well as team development. So that's how we're approaching it now. Okay. I got a question over here. Yes.
Because of my long relationship with Butler over many, many years, I would say that this is great for the future, and it is consistent with Ovid Butler's dreams of the first black woman going to Butler. So I think this is something that should be well publicized, not only in our community, but nationwide, because it is such an important program. And maybe outside instructors from various walks of life could also be a part of this, and mentoring is so important in this situation. Some of us are involved with key clubs around Marion County or around it, and maybe we can help funnel some applications back into it.
Yeah, thank you so much, and thank you for the comments. And yes, we would love, in the model, we actually have a mentoring framework, so students would have some mentoring. So and again, there's so much to tell about it, but there's a lot of ways we would love to involve people from the community to be able to be part of that. So thank you so much for that. Anything else? Yeah, Graham.
Stephanie, is there a way people can donate to this program?
On to Graham now, yeah. Tell the website, or you want to take it? All right.
I'm breaking every Kiwanis rule in the book.
Yes, you are.
You guys can vote me out if you want. I would say sincerely, and you guys have been great in so many ways, so this is not a hard sell, but if you think about supporting a local university, supporting students, but really giving back to the Indianapolis community, this is sort of a 3-for-1. Any gift right now really helps this program get up and running. We are done a lot of work here, building the airplane. We really need funding to keep that building of the airplane growing. I was told a few months ago, ultimately, we need to grow this to a $20 million endowment.
Yeah.
I went home and got sick to my stomach that night when I heard that. But really, think about Indianapolis and how this is going to make Indianapolis better. That's my pitch. I'm starting to steal your thunder. I'll be around after the meeting, but all seriousness, this is just probably the best thing I've been involved in at Butler, and you can now vote me out if you want.
No, and on that too, though, if you are interested in learning more too, we do have a website, and I can make sure that you guys will get that. It's twoyearcollege@butler.edu. You can find that literally. I know that's a really creative name. I promise we are going to have a name. And there is information about, requesting information. We have an email site. To your point, the gentleman back there that said that, like, this was very well received. And when we made the announcement, a lot of news, a lot of press, higher ed, inside higher ed articles about doing it, because it is not something all universities are doing. And so that's what makes me a proud Butler Bulldog too, is that we are taking the step to do something that I think is radical and something that Ovid Butler would have wanted us to do. So you can learn about that. There's a lot of ways. We will have a lot of opportunities for the community to engage, and we want the community to be part of this. It's very, very important. It's community based in that sense. Okay, any other questions? Good. All right, well, thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate it. Thank you for the time and the great questions, and thank you for the support. We greatly appreciate it. Thank you.
Stephanie, what a wonderful program. And we're so grateful that Graham convinced you to come and speak to us today. We're going to provide a donation in your honor to 100 cameras for 100 kids. Their mission is to provide 100 deserving kids with cameras each year, fostering creativity, self-expression, and the development of important life skills. Through the lens of a camera, they can tell their stories, document their journeys, and explore the world around them in an entirely new way. Okay, dad joke time. This one, compliments of Trina. I'm not a dad, but I really like dad jokes. I'm a faux pas. Okay. And Graham, tomorrow, happy birthday. Next week is going to be Zoom with Lauren Keegan, the NBA All-Star Game host with Indiana All-Star Game Host Committee. So with that, we are adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.